Well, it's taken a long time for me to record this because there was a lot of audio issues, and because I was crypto mining in the background. So, anyways, uh, we're gonna address the elephant in the room today. As many of you know, that means the drop in the crypto market. But I'm here to give you some good news because I do technical analysis, and I'm hoping mine's right. So, how about you stick around and you find out? Oh, and I got a little bit of surprise for you on my development of crypto mining. All right, folks. Well, it has been a very long week and a very long weekend, to say the least. We did see some of the major cryptos dropped to very significant levels. Um, but if you do high time frame analysis, you would know that this is actually normal. Um, I actually pointed this out about a week ago on Twitter. There is a specific head figure, I guess you could say, out there who likes to freak out, or he says he has the best TA out there, but I haven't really seen his TA, and I know I provided better TA than him. In fact, I should probably show you that. But first, I think what I want to do is, yeah, let's just go ahead and throw it in there. Um, Welcome to my mining. Have the uh, AMD Radeon and Ryzen 5, which the CPU will also mine. And here is the power supply. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3 cords, and I've had to get them hooked together. And this will hook into the motherboard once I get that all set up. But let's just go ahead and plug her in. And I plugged her in, and it is working. Sounds so smooth. And even these have Molex cables. These cables right here, those are there to make sure that your fans move. So if you have that is a Molex cable, and this one didn't have a Molex cable, but I'm assuming since I strung it from this one to this one, that is what helped it out. But there you go. There's my mining rig. Let's go. And there you have it. That was my little mining rig. I haven't got it completely set up yet, but at least I do have my 3 graphics cards. 2 kind of good. 1 maybe not so good, but hey, it'll do the trick. Plus, I have my laptop that I didn't show that already has the Radeon in it and the Ryzen 5. So I figured I would probably just take the bottom off of that and try to plug in that power supply to the the laptop. I'm not for sure how well that's going to work because I remember trying to get the extra 8 GB of RAM in there. It wasn't so easy. So I'm not for sure how I'm going to be able to get this power supply in there. But if anybody has some tips or tricks on how to mine from a laptop with a power supply rather than building I'm probably going to have to get a case, to be honest, just to get everything to fit in there and probably to the laptop on top. But if anybody has any tips or tricks about mining that you'd love to give to me, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear it. I'm going to be doing this on my own. My work actually gives me incentives to go solar. So I'm actually going to be buying some solar panels, and I'm going to be trying to make this operation completely solar. Um, Even if it's not solar, unfortunately, I probably won't be mining, but hey, I'll actually have batteries that are rechargeable on like a separate little like 40-watt thing too as well. So hopefully I'll be able to keep the rotation in and out as much as possible. That way I can keep mining. Right now, with just the Ryzen 5 and the Radeon that I have, it's not mining much. It's only mining like, I don't know, 15 cents a day. But with the addition of three graphics cards, hopefully I'll be able to get up to I don't know, $4, $5, $6, $10 a day. That would be ideal. That would be ideal because that would make a huge, significant I don't know, savings, I guess you could say. I would definitely be reinvesting that into crypto, and you got to have multiple income streams, is what I was told, if you're going to be successful. So that is just one of many. Um, but all right, so enough of that. Let's get into the nitty gritty of what has happened this week. I know many of you are anxious. You're afraid that the market is going to fall and just completely keep going. But what I do is I do top-down analysis, and I actually pointed this out to Mr. Larkin or Lark or whatever his name is on Twitter, who has a blue check mark and seems to be some kind of crypto expert. Um, and I hate to say it, but I feel like I had to school him. So actually, I'll go ahead and go over that. Even though I don't have the chart up just yet. Give me one moment, and I will bring that up in just one moment. Shouldn't take me too long because it's on Brave and it's right up at the top. All right, but these are the charts, but I will switch over to Twitter really quick. All right, so let me see here. Let's go to profile. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, please do so. BodiesXWix. I even have my new website up to date, bodiesxwix.com. It's very simple, very mundane, but it gets straight to the point and leads you to all my social medias, as well as leads you to my YouTube library of all the content that I have on there. What I like to do on Twitter is point out a lot of technical analysis, and here I was saying Terra Luna was probably probably one of the strongest ones out of all of them. But here I wanted to show you this, Mr. Lark Davis. I don't even know who this guy is. He keeps showing up on my feed. He keeps asking questions. And he's supposed to be this. If you go to his profile, he says he's got expert TA and all this stuff. And here his remark was, if we can see the tweet. No, it just goes back to where it was. Anyways, he says that crypto is crashing again. And so I just said, no, it's not. I said top-down analysis to tell you that ETH is strong possibility to get to 2446 or 2200. That's where the weekly fair value gap is. And Bitcoin has a strong possibility of going down to 35.428 or 37.300, somewhere between there. That's another weekly fair value gap. I said, come on, people. High time frame analysis, not hard. And then that was from my. I got this notification from a different account. That was from my NFT account, which is really not too active because we haven't really been pumping out any NFTs lately. But I go back into my normal Twitter account, and I kind of spell it out for him. And this guy, I didn't even realize this guy says this. But anyways, I spell it out. Different account. I'm calling out Bitcoin turnaround 35,905. Got a little bit lower than that, but still, I was close. It got down to like 3,400. It didn't get down to 33, I don't think. So I wasn't, too far off. I was less than $1,000 off. And this is so frequently common that this is so frequently common. I have no idea why the crypto community freaks out at the slightest drop. I have some advice for new people entering the sky is falling crypto market. Study smart money in the Forex market. Yes, that's where I got my start. I got my start in the Forex market studying smart money. And then I transferred that information over to the crypto market because it's the same thing. Believe it or not, all markets have the same process. They are manipulated, they are consolidated, and then they're distributed. It's the same thing. So whoever has the deepest pockets are going to be able to control these markets. And that's just a simple fact. Now, when it comes to Forex, the people that have the deepest pockets are going to be your Federal Reserve, your central banks, your all that good stuff. When it comes to crypto, it's just there are institutions that do own a lot of money. There are people who do own a lot of crypto. And they team up with these people. They know the algorithm. They know how to play it. They know how to play the retail traders that are dumb enough to just keep on going with the same narrative that they were taught. Trade double tops, trade double bottoms, bear flags and bull flags, and use harmonics and all that mumbo jumbo. In smart money, that is not the case. We do not believe in any of that. And smart money does two things, right? It looks for liquidity, right? And it looks for balance, right? And there's a lot of other things in between there, but that's the two main things that smart money looks for. So if you know where to look for liquidity, then you know where price has a possibility of going. And if it's balanced, then you know that it's going to be moving on toward that liquidity area. If it's not balanced, then it's going to try to balance itself out. So, if we were looking at Ethereum today, I know my charts are a little messy. I get it. But it's to keep me organized. Because if my charts weren't messy, I would not be organized. But this is how I got those numbers. This is exactly how I got those numbers. If we went back to this tweet that I said, see here, ETH has a strong possibility of 2446 and 2200. Where to get to? It got down to exactly almost 2,200. Now, did I pull these numbers out of my ass? Of course not. It's because of smart money I knew where these prices were going. Okay, so how did I know these prices were going this way? Well, if you look here, there is a fair value gap. What is a fair value gap? I went over this many times if you've ever seen my channel. These are the lifeblood of smart money because they represent an imbalance, right? So here, right, if I was to try to move anything from this part and pull it back, this is the top of this candle, right? And then it moves over, right? Pulls back a little bit, boom, shoots up, and then moves over, pulls back a little bit, boom, shoots up. So what does it do? It leaves a huge gap, not a huge gap, but it leaves, I mean, this is the weekly we're on right now. So it leaves this weekly gap this big. Now, the algorithm sees that as basically an imbalance, that there is nothing there, or that the buying was so much that it could have skipped prices. And whenever you ever see a chart and you see it move up and down and move up and down and move up and down, it's because it's trying to cover every single price. Now, sometimes whenever it just skyrockets and it starts going up and going up, it'll miss some prices. Now, that's the thing, is that it causes gaps. You just don't see them. And we all know that price has a tendency to come back and fill the gaps. So that's what this is. This is basically just a gap, or there's places in here that are gaps. We just don't know where they are. So that's why we call this a weekly fair value gap, because it looks like it's not a gap, but it actually is. Because if you go from here to here, that is where the gap is, right? So boom, it falls and then pulls back up and then comes back over and then boom, falls again. And that is this week. That has been since 6 p.m. last night, and it is about 5:30 in the morning. This is just my sleeping pattern. I don't go to sleep until early in the morning anyway, because I work late in the evening. And so, look, it got down to almost, let me see what that low is. What is that low? 2201.10. 2201.10. What did I call? 2200. I was almost dead on. Now, I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back or like trying to say I'm the best or anything like that. I'm just trying to say that if you pay attention to smart money analysis, this is how you can know where price is going and you don't freak out, right? So that being said, there's still a possibility it could get lower. There is, because of this weekly bullish order block right here. So it could still drop down into 2113-ish. And if we really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of things, we could take a look at the daily. But I think the daily is where it's probably going to end. And even then, yeah. So here on the daily, I'm going to move this weekly fair value gap that was previously there. And we're going to make a new one because there is a new one there. All right, so that fair value gap is the space in between two candles. So you have this guy right here, this guy right here, and then this candle just comes up and kind of engulfs the other candles, but definitely closes above most of the other candles. So therefore, now what you have is not only a fair value gap, a daily fair value gap, but you also have bullish order blocks as well. Bullish order blocks are the last down candles, right, before the up candles close above them. So now with this one right here, I'm not for sure if this one actually closed above this wick. I'm going to say it's not. Well, actually, let's just go ahead and take a look at the highs. The highs here are at 1994.40. High here is, okay, yeah, it did. 2033.64. So, boom, there is one. Well, actually, no, it didn't close. That was just the high. What was the close on this? Close 1996.18. High 1994.40. And the close was 1996.18. Okay, so this actually did close above here. So here you do have a bullish order block as it is going down. So this is what starts the bullish order block. It's not always the last candle. It can be any of these candles, right? So this candle came down, pulled back up, and then now you also have another order block. You kind of have multiple order blocks in the same region. And I will get rid of this bottom one here so it doesn't confuse us. So now you have 3 order blocks. Inside, or 2 of them are inside of a weekly fair value gap. So this is where I think Ethereum is eventually going to go. Now, even though we thought we could have saw the end of it, it looked like it was going to go up, yada, yada, yada. I don't think so. I think we're going to eventually get down to about 2000, somewhere around there, 1918, somewhere around there. Yeah, I know it's low from what it has been previously, but if you think about it, it's still above these candles right here. As long as we don't close below down through here. Now, the thing is that we might spike through it. I have a feeling we might do that because of all the sell side liquidity that we have right here. What I mean by sell side liquidity is I mean that there are about 3, 4 almost equal lows just sitting right there. So that is considered what most retail people would consider a safe, a safe support level, right? Most people will consider that a safe support level. Smart money knows that. They know that you're going to think that that's a safe support level. So what are they going to do? They're going to drive right through it. Because people probably have their buy limits set in these areas. They probably have stop losses set just below them because they think, ooh, this is so safe. Because look at all these candles that just stopped right here and then continue moving on. So that's got to be the safe support level, right? No, not at all. So what I am expecting Ethereum to do, and this is why I got rid of most of my Ethereum today, and I threw it into Avalanche and went over to Trader Joe's and started staking up on some APY. And so I think that this, and I put over here still bullish above the golden lines. Now, what I mean by that is that as long as the close is above the golden lines, we are still bullish. Even if we close above here, yeah, we're still kind of bullish, but we're getting close to that borderline. And we got to be careful and watch how that's going to react, because it could leave a big drop, which would leave another fair value gap. Now, once price reaches up into fair value gaps, they usually get rejected and pull back. And then we'll have to see if it's going to continue downward or if it's just going to do a quick pullback and then back up. So that is ETH right there. Now let's check out Bitcoin. Bitcoin, kind of similar, kind of not. Here I am on the weekly chart again. So again, top-down analysis. This is the best way to do it, because you will see exactly where you could have possibly went wrong. If you're doing analysis constantly on like a 1 hour or 15 minute or a 4 hour, you're gonna miss things. You're gonna miss things big, right? So now, oops, wrong one. These are the only two indicators I use right here. I use the Williams percentage R and the average true range. I use the average true range to make sure that I don't get my stop loss hit. I can show you that in just a little bit. I actually learned that from Forex Panda. Shout out to him. I didn't think I would learn anything outside of my mentorship with Inner Circle Trader, but Forex Panda actually saved my life with that one. That was a really good trick that I don't know if he discovered it or if he was taught it or what happened. But I just saw this video. I thought I was going to laugh at it because I usually laugh at like almost all retail traders. But he's not a retail trader. He's a smart money trader. So, big props to him. Now here, you can see this pull down. And once it hits the top, boom. So you can see it hit the 88.6 of the retracement. Now that retracement is if I were to put a fib bottom here, top all the way at the top, comes all the way back down here to the 88.6. Now that it has gone that far, again, not much lower I don't think we're going to get. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, my mentor is telling me to, look underneath here and possibly see if it could bounce down to this area, which is a monthly fair value gap that we have yet to touch. And that monthly fair value gap comes from, what was that, December of 20? Ooh, that was like when crypto started getting hot again. But if it does get down to that 28,800 level, something like that, I have a feeling we're going to start to rebound from them, because now the institutions have come in to the crypto market. They're not going to let their assets get that low. They're not going to let their companies take a huge hit. If anything, they're going to start buying more, just so that whenever it does go up, they're prepared for it. So that is one thing I have to say about that. Now, it did pull up, and it's fell back down into this weekly fair value gap. Or sorry, 4 hour fair value gap. So you can't see it here, but there is a fair value gap on the 4 hour. And yeah, it looks like it's okay. So what I'm afraid now, again, is that it does possibly get a little bit lower and getting down to this 28.8, 27.6 area. Hopefully it would just touch the top of it and then move on. But I guess we'll have to see what happens when we get there. Now, one of the things I did admire about today was Terra Luna. Sorry about that. I accidentally muted my phone or muted my mic. Terra Luna actually has been, even though it did have that pullback for the last couple of weeks, it's still looking really, really bullish. Came down into the bullish order block here. And it looks like it is respecting, the body is respecting the fair value gap. So it looks like it's coming back up. But it may not. Who knows? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I think Terra Luna right now is a good possibility to switch over some funds if you need to. I'm not a financial advisor. Let me put that out there. I just know that that is exactly what I did. I looked at Terra Luna. I looked at Avalanche, and I think they're both, not nearly on the low side as some of these other ones. And hopefully that everything will be okay soon. But again, just still watch for these, if anything, watch for a slow decline. That's the only thing I would watch. Other than that, I think this thing's going to pop back up out of it, and we're going to see a stronger, more efficient chart as we go along. So now that we looked at Terra Luna, I know a lot of people were talking about Matic being at prices around 150, being extremely low, and I didn't want to touch it. And the reason I didn't want to touch it was because it was getting too close to this low right here. Now, if it stays within the fat or near the body of the candle and then turns around and takes off, yeah, you may not have anything to worry about. But whenever this thing, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. Whenever it just, runs over and runs through the bottom of this candle's tail, then you may think you have a slightly bearish chart. So be wary of things of those. And just understand that that is something that could possibly cause it. Now, what is Matic going to do next? That is a very good question. Let me see what we got here. Okay, we do have another fair value gap just above it. Everything seems to be okay. We just got to watch for it to pull back up into this fair value gap. And let's see how far it gets up into it. And what I mean by get into it is I mean the fair value gap. Usually if it gets up into about halfway, which we do look like we have a little line right here designating it. Maybe not exactly halfway, but it looks like it could be. Now, what that possibly means is that they're just waiting for rework to get done, or I'm not for sure. Could be another thing as well. Now, Matic is looking a little ominous, to be honest. I mean, it is still falling. Now, the thing is that it's about to hit this bullish order block here, which is your last down candle before your up candle comes up and closes above it. Now, what I want to do is draw a there we go. Didn't mean for it to get, well, actually, I think I looked the wrong one. All right. Oops. Not horizontal. We need, there we go. Now, even though the wick technically starts the bullish order block, a lot of them come down to the actual body of the candle. But as for now, it is looking like it has just come down and touched the bottom. Well, let me see here. I don't know. I feel like I could watch this all night just to see where it's going to go, but I can't.